We all see products, ideas, and behaviors that catch on, whether it's at the grocery store, a television show, a new service. But one question is why? Why do some things become popular while others fail? We've spent over a decade understanding the science of social transmission, the psychology of talk, of word of mouth, and we've packaged these scientific principles into 6 concepts that people can apply. My name is Jonah Berger. I'm author of Contagious: Why Things Catch On.
Why is word of mouth more effective than advertising? Trust, right? And it's clear why we trust our friends. We believe them, but we don't trust ads. Now, it's the football season going on now. I don't know if any of you watched the games yesterday. I didn't get to see all the ads. But did anyone see an ad from last season with Joe Montana in it for Skechers Shape-Up shoes? Anyone see that ad? It was for Skechers, their shoes that tone your behind. And Joe Montana, famous quarterback, was in this ad. Does anyone remember what you thought if you saw that ad? Joe Montana, famous quarterback, in a Skechers ad for Shape-Up shoes. I remember thinking Joe Montana must owe someone a lot of money. He got divorced, he has alimony payments, he has a gambling debt. Something is wrong in the Joe Montana household because there's no way that Joe Montana, famous Super Bowl quarterback, actually wears shoes that tone your butt. And this is a little example, cutesy example, but it points out what happens with advertising all the time. When you hear an ad, you react against that message, right? You say, it's not true, they're trying to convince me, I'm going to turn my head away and I'm going to do something else. An ad says, hey, you need to think more about retirement. A consumer says, sure, you'd say that ad, right? You're always going to tell me what you want me to do, whereas my friend will tell me what's best for me. And that's why people are much more likely to trust their friends. Their friends have their best interest at heart. But the second benefit of word of mouth is a little more nuanced, and that's the targeting benefit of word of mouth. And the way to think about that is, how can we find new customers? How can we find the right people who haven't heard our message and get them to change their behavior? And it's pretty hard, right? Because we don't know necessarily what everyone's looking for. We don't know who's decided to save for retirement and who hasn't. Maybe we can go after demographics. We can put ads on television or in magazines that people who are the right age might read, and hopefully they'll see it. But maybe some of those people already have a retirement plan. Maybe others aren't going to pick us. They've picked a competitor. So how do we find the right people for our message? Well, what better way than to use people's friends? Nobody knows them better than their friends. Right? We're trying to target them. We don't have a good sense, but people know their friends really well. That's why word of mouth that comes from a referred person, from a friend, has 13% higher customer lifetime value, people come in via word of mouth, than people that come in from ads. They're better customers. So imagine you're in New York City, maybe for a business trip or just for a vacation with your family. It's late one Saturday afternoon, and you're walking down on the Lower East Side when your stomach is sort of rumbling. You decide you need to stop and get something to eat, when you notice a big hot dog-shaped sign out in front of a restaurant with the words "Eat Me" written on it in what look like mustard. You say, I haven't had a hot dog in a while, so why not? You walk down a flight of stairs into a restaurant called Criff Dogs. Now, if you like hot dogs, you will be in heaven at Criff Dogs. They have every hot dog you can imagine, from a Good Morning hot dog with bacon, eggs, and cheese, a hot dog with green onions and pineapple, and a traditional New York-style water dog with ketchup and mustard. So you're sitting there, you're munching on your hot dog, when you notice something sort of unusual in the corner of the room. It almost looks like a phone booth. So just for fun, step inside that phone booth, slide open the door. Pretty tight in there, not a lot of space. And you'll notice on the wall is a rotary dial phone. Just for fun, pick up the phone, hold it to your ear, put your finger in, let's say, the number 2, and go around in a circle. And the phone will go ring, ring, and then someone will pick up the other line, and they'll ask you whether you have a reservation. Reservation? I'm in a phone booth inside of a hot dog restaurant. What would I have a reservation for? But if you're lucky, and they happen to have space, or you made a reservation, the back of that phone booth will open, and you'll be led into a secret bar called Please Don't Tell. Now, Please Don't Tell has violated a number of traditional laws of marketing. No sign on the street, no sign inside the restaurant. They've done everything they can to make themselves difficult to find. Yet they've never advertised, and every day they're full. I don't know if anyone's been before, but 3 p.m. the phone lines open up. By 3:30, all the seats are gone. So what did they do right? Well, they made themselves a secret. Let me tell you a little secret about secrets. Think about the last time someone told you something, and they told you not to tell anyone else. What's the first thing you then did with that information? You told somebody, right? Because having access to something that not everyone else does makes you look smart and in the know. It gives you what I'll call social currency. Let me show you a clip from a company that was able to get over 100 million views for a blender.
Will it blend? That is the question. I love my new iPhone. It does everything. But will it blend? That is the question. Let's find out. I think I'm going to push the smoothie button. I smoke. Don't breathe this. Now, you fans on YouTube have asked me to blend an iPhone, so I did it. But I have another.
So it's a company, Blendtec. They're out of Utah. A new marketing hire, George Wright, comes in. His first day in the office, he notices on the floor a big pile of sawdust. So he goes to one of his colleagues, why is there sawdust on the floor? Are we expanding? What's going on? His colleague goes, no, the CEO is doing what he tries to do every day, break blenders. CEO would take 2x4 pieces of wood, golf balls, marbles, Bic lighters, anything he could find, throw them in the blender, and try to see if the blender was tough enough to cut it. And now George saw this and he said, this is genius. This is going to be a viral home run. He took a $50 marketing budget, not $50 million, not $50,000, $50, filmed his CEO. You guys laughed at that poor guy, right? He's not an actor. He's the CEO of the company, so that's always a little goofy. Filmed his CEO doing what the CEO was already doing, throwing stuff in blenders. Posted them online. These things got thousands upon millions of views. This one in particular has over 10 million. The set has over 100 million. But the most remarkable part about it is this is for a blender, okay? Who would talk about and share a blender? No one's trying to sell blenders, but this is such remarkable content that people pass it on because it's entertaining and it makes them look smart and in the know. And so here they figured out by harnessing the inner remarkability, they would get people able to talk about blenders. We can do this for any product or idea. Right? It's not easy. You might have said, oh, there's no way they could have done this with blenders. But by thinking about what makes something remarkable, it's not even clear, by the way, that this is the only company whose blender does this. It's not even clear this is a point of differentiation. Almost all blenders may do this. But you definitely know this blender is tough, and sales went up 700% after these videos were released.
It's a human business legacy we want to leave behind us.